Okay, hi guys. So we're just approaching our descent point, which is obviously Ottringham. So we've just plugged the ILS 25 approach in there. We've got no stars for Newcastle, so that's our descent. Our initial altitude on the on the arrival, I suppose. Well, final altitude is going to be 2,000 feet, so that'll go in a second. We had to kind of hack some fuel in for ourselves because we had an issue when fueling in Larnaca. But not to worry, we're getting there now. So as I say, it's 2,000 feet is our next altitude, so I'm just going to set that in. I'm just going to do a quick overhead check. I left the APU on, well, I switched it back on, and yeah, so that's that pretty much done. Just checking everything's where it's supposed to be, which it is, which is good. As I say, this is a back commentary, so I'm kind of trying to work out roughly what I was doing, because I filmed this 2 days ago. Okay, so we're now descending through 13,000 to about 3,500 feet per minute. We have got how many miles have we got to go? Sorry, I've got this like a minimised view. We're currently 38 miles from the centre fix for runway 25. So I'll just set the just decelerating to past 10,000 feet, which tends to be a good idea. So we're now going to aim to descend about 250 knots. We've got the speed brake out because we've got to be a little bit on the high side. We can also set the ILS frequency, which is treble 1.5. I will get that. I'm just currently taking a break because scrolling things is tiring work. I need also arm 2,000 feet so that we don't descend below that, although I haven't decided to do that yet. I will do it before we get there though, I trust, well, I promise, I think. Yeah, I was absolutely terrible with this approach. I should have, ILS frequency is treble 1.5. I also turned the wing lights on a little on the late side. It's time there. The way I personally view it with the wing lights is you can turn them on passing 10,000 if it's a really busy place you're going to. But if it's quite a quiet airport, just whoa, rain started and the visibility degraded. Just glossing over that. But anyway, you know, if it's a situation like this, you know, landing lights, the main thing you're going to use them for is so other people can see you. In this sort of environment, not many other people can see me. Hence, they're not on yet, because it just means there's more drag, which increases the fuel burn, which means it costs company more. So it's still 32 miles to go now. Just have a quick look at our external view. As you can see, we are descending very rapidly. That is the T's over there. We are using the satellite scenery for this trip. I didn't use it for the trip in from St John's because I didn't think it was necessary at that time, and I also was flying the A319, which obviously has a much bigger VAS penalty than the Maddog. Also, you need to right click the altitude to get it to do the arm, not left click, which is what I just tried to do there. So I'm just going to scroll the range down a bit, and I'm going to switch myself to arc mode and rose mode. So what I can do is I can switch the radio mode on, and I can just configure the ILS to do my stuff. So we're on, come on, there we go, we got it. And we need a course at 248 installed, but we can just leave that. Oh, actually, we can't really, can we? But the aircraft is still currently in nav track mode, which is so it means it's tracking the FMC route. It is, as I say, quite rainy today in Newcastle. It was, and got a bit of a crosswind as well from the right on this approach. So yeah, that's, where's that? I don't recognise. But yeah, we've got 28 miles to go, and we're obviously displaced quite significantly to the left of the glide path, so of the localizer. No glide path indication as of now. Okay, I'm just going to slow us down because it's going to take us quite a significant amount of time to slow it to 180. Sorry, I'm going to set the bug for 180 and keep the descent speed at 250. So then when we get to 2000, we start decelerating to 180 knots, which is our ILS approach speed. Looks like we've got a slight hydraulic leak on the left as well. I'm going to have to get maintenance to have a look at that because we've got a quantity of 9 as opposed to 11 on the right. Again, I also quite like the fact that Maddog, if you look at the engine displays, is a little bit different. That, you know, not everything's showing exactly the same amount, which is what some of the sim models do. And I quite like that. Peculiar enough, though, On the left, we've got a slightly lower oil quantity, which can be attributed to just the maintainers not filling her up correctly. But it, it shows you that it's a living aircraft. It's just had a little bit of a slight oil leak, or some of the oil's been taken out of the system and not put back in for whatever reason. Just turned the audio back on there, which makes it so much more intense. So I know I turned it back off. Oops. Okay, so that's 2,500. Bear in mind, just hopefully I'll pop that sound with you shortly. Yeah.
Slats extended.
So we need to put flaps 15 out at this stage, which is just to guarantee to stop the aircraft going into alpha mode, which it already has done, even though it's the 250 knots, which I can't comprehend. So I think it's stuck in
flaps 15.
We're now descending in feet per minute mode as opposed to airspeed mode. So I'm just going to accelerate this a bit to about 210 knots. It's a peculiar situation with this aircraft, it really is. As you can see, though, we've got the coast on the left. I moved this out from the coast in heading mode, by the way. Not quite sure how I forgot to do that. But I moved this out just to give us a little bit of time to turn into the finals. Because I find in the real world you come out quite loose, whereas in the sim, we're going to get this warning now for the entire arrival, which I'm very sorry about. But anyway, try again. So they do bring you out quite a long way out from the coast. Maybe this is a little bit on the far side, but I'm still pretty unfamiliar with this aircraft, so I'd rather give myself some more line-up space than I would, to be kind of barreling it in at the last minute and having to go around. You still get charged for landing even if you do go around in Newcastle. And that's actually true stuff. That is the case in the real world. For some reason I docked that. Anyway, we're just going to switch ourselves back to map mode. We're still a little way away. We're about 15 miles from the end of the island. 13. But we are just slowing down nicely, just to get our speed under control before we fly the approach. Okay, just put ourselves back into rose mode. And undocked it again. Well done, me. There we go. Third time looking. Yeah, you can see what's actually causing the call-outs of low speed is if you look at the angle of attack bars to the left, sorry, to the right of the PFD, it's fluctuating quite significantly. Now that's because of the turbulence that's going on. Also landing speeds 130 knots today at flaps 28, so we only need to put one more lump of flap out. And the landing gear, as the aircraft rightfully reminds us. So it's we'll aim to hit the glide slope element of the approach at about 160 knots, I think. So I'm not sure how I actually decided to do this, because I say it was a while ago I did this. And trust me, back commentating on videos is quite hard.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
The speed's at 200 knots. So we are now at that's the weir. So we are in the right piece of airspace right now. That there is. I'm undecided where we are. I must have been decided when I wasn't there, but that's either T-Sport or the time. I think, yeah, that's the weir on our left now, because it's got the port actually in the, like, dugout man-made area, whereas on the Tyne, which is the next river on the left, it's just one river where the port is.
Landing gear.
VFR ring with
Landing
Silverbird. VFR fact with Silverbird. Anyway, so yeah, that is the time. Is it? I can't even tell now, I was whizzing around so fast. Anyway, overhead checks, the seatbelt signs, they should have been on.
Landing gear.
Stop pump comes off, we'll stick ignition systems to both because it's rainy at the minute.
Landing gear.
but it's kind of on and off rain. But I'd rather stick that on, so if the engine kind of has an issue, it'll relight as soon as possible. And the ignition's already running for it, so okay, 12-mile final now, so this is getting quite close to the turn into finals. Note, the DME range is actually the range to the aerodrome, not to the end of the ILS. So I'm actually, yeah, I've already armed ILS mode.
Landing here.
Should hit ramp, there's the airport, slight unrealistic burn through, that's St Mary's we're coming up on. Tip from a real-world Triton pilot is to turn left when you hit over the top of this, because that will line you up on the approach for runway 25 at Newcastle. And that's a tip from a real pilot. This pilot then, when I was talking to him, also went on to say, you know, when I said, oh, did you find anything else except the Trident?
Landing here.
Oh yes, Concorde. Sorry, no, sorry, it wasn't, it was just Concorde. So that kind of shows the kind of guy he was. Just Concorde. I think it's the only time anyone's managed to use Concorde with the word just so effectively. Again, going external for some reason, I'm kind of obsessed with it right now. Yeah, that seat and sluice, you come straight over the top of that town, well, the city of Blythe. It's a town actually, I'm lying. But we are coming in straight over the top of Seat and Sluice, which is, well, exactly the right area beyond Blythe. That's
landing
good,
here.
trust me.
Landing
Gear down.
here.
That shuts up the landing gear. I put the gear down early there just to shut the GPWS up because it was really annoying.
Gear down, 3-3.
That's good. Gears down and locked. Just one last thing to worry about. For some reason I decided to leave the wing lights, landing lights fully off for this approach. I'm not quite sure why, please don't ask me. I'll actually try, yeah, I decided to try auto land on this. Because every time I tried it previously, auto land didn't work for me, but this time I plugged the ILS frequency into both sides, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm just going to slow us down to 180 knots now. It's still moving, but you know, I'm probably going flat, putting flat 28 down early, but I'm just doing it. You know, I don't know how to fly this aircraft. I really don't. I don't pretend to know how to fly this aircraft. I'm just trying to do my best to land it. Okay, then we'll go for 130, which is VREF. Now you'll notice we're getting to a low limit. Now I don't understand that personally, but I just let it get down there because that is VREF, so we are safe to fly at that speed at this weight. The aircraft kind of points that out. But if you look,
Stabilizer
the
motion.
yeah, the stabilizer's swirling around to try and keep the nose down for this. Notice how much quieter it got, and we've got the angle of attack bars bouncing up and down again. So we're getting quite close in now. We've got that's the runway. That is the Haldane roundabout, which is kind of visual reference point of a 5-mile final. So we are fully configured. We'll just give it 135 because, as I say, it's quite a blustery day, as you can see by the fact that we are crabbing this approach. I'm now going to do something incredibly ugly because I do want to take over from the aircraft. So you can see also we've got auto land on both sides, which will be full auto land, but we can't do auto lands at Newcastle because at Newcastle we've only got a Category 2 ILS, which gives us a decision height of 100 feet on this approach. You notice how bouncy the angle of attack bars are. I'm even pointing at it with the mouse cursor. We're getting quite close in now. That's the A1 motorway. For some reason the textures aren't rendering, so I'm just going to go back inside. And 1,000 feet. I don't need to tell you that. Yeah, so I'm just going to pull this down to give me the visual guidance I need to be able to fly this approach by hand. Again, we're just getting it going. I'm really not sure what that means. If anyone in the comment section does know, please tell me. So if I actually, what I don't know yet is if I click where I'm currently now, that makes it disappear, which gives you so much better visibility. Ooh, it makes it disappear. Oh, Bambi. Oh, that was the most voice-broken Bambi in the world.
400.
So hoping I could make that disappear as well, he says. Autopilot should be coming off any minute now. Because the aircraft tries to stick us above that glide path for some reason. I don't go on anything like that.
Autopilot.
Sink rate.
This isn't really glory diving, it's actually bang on the money.
Sink rate.
It just
Sink
looks
rate.
incredibly fast.
100, 30, 20, 10.
And just through lag, that looks like a horrible landing. But again, I'm sorry about the lag, it's just screen capture software I use. I am trying out some other ones at the moment to see if I can improve. Okay, so I should be vacating onto right onto Bravo Taxiway. I think it's Bravo Taxiway. I'm kind of concerned at this stage about rolling off the end because I feel like I'm going so incredibly fast. And I'm not, really, because this is the starting point of the runway.
60 knots.
I kind of go to myself, why did I not? Now, why did I put the reverses away so soon? Oh wait, I made the high speed. That's basically my response. Also, so as we said, what we'll do is that, yeah, so the autopilot, the APU is on for the right hand side. I can then switch that fuel off, which then makes the aircraft go, ah, what are you doing to me? But until the power transfers onto the APU, we've got a little bit of a thing going on there. And go. I'm not quite sure why I went external on that. GSX will go for gate 9, which just tends to be where they come in. I don't know why I went for service air, because service air is the only one of those who actually handle at Newcastle. Those lags there tell you that GSX is currently spawning into vehicles. I'd love to be able to get rid of them, but yeah. Flight director's off. APU comes on for the other side. We can switch the generator, the ignition off because we landed. I'm also going to switch the. My taxiing's absolutely atrocious at the minute because I'm on engine. I just realised I can't actually switch those flashy lights off as much as I would like to. Also, you will get this call out for the entire duration of the taxiing. Because of the way this thing is, it actually does trigger the takeoff config warning horn as you're taxiing it, if you're taxiing it on one engine. Just go to like a log spot view. I think that was just military checking that I've had everything cleaned up. Over there you can see the ground vehicles. It looks very much like a fisheye lens when I'm flying it. And it also feels much more like a fisheye lens with GSX running. I've also just realised I need to switch the weather radar off so that I don't irradiate the ground handlers. They don't like it. Again, I'm going external view. Look how strong that wind is. That it's moving the water I'm kicking up. It's just immediately right. It's not even going backwards. Anyway, this is UK 2000's Newcastle, for those who are wondering. It was Aerosoft Larnaca we took off from. Probably not going to go back to Cyprus for a while because it's just such an incredibly long flight. It's the equivalent of flying across the Atlantic on one of the shorter runs, so I'd prefer probably to do something like the Spanish destinations because that's just a 2-hour flight, as opposed to Cyprus, which is 5 hours. It took us. And in terms of filming, I've just decided to switch the panel off there. But in terms of filming, 5 hours as opposed to 1 hour or 2 hours makes a bit of a difference. In terms of editing, it makes absolutely no difference. But yeah, just had a shock horror moment there that I thought I'd actually turn my microphone off. That would have been something to behold in terms of my reaction. Anyway, you can also see that I'm actually doing quite well in terms of the parking tonight. That you're keeping it within a metre of where I should be, which for me is actually pretty good because I'm an absolutely terrible person at parking. I'm even worse at parking cars in the real world. So we're just going to bring ourselves on a stand, and I am going to cut the video there. I'm not going to show you the disembarkation process because it looks horrible. But yeah, 12 metres to go. You can hear I'm going to use so much extra power to bring the aircraft in because I'm feeling like I'm going to stop. And again, that lag there was actually my hard drive not being able to write things quickly enough.
Stabilizer.
Oops. we rode a little bit far and a little bit to the right, but you know, the fact that I taxied that on one engine does, you know, show that if I can do it, anyone can do it. Fuel off. Seatbelt sign off. Going over the first officer's side, I know I meant to switch the hydraulics off, I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. Back to my side. AP's on. Golly, I decided to switch that back on for some reason. KP supply, bleed supply goes off. That all stays the way it is. And we can ask for deboarding or disembarkation of the aircraft. So this is it from me, folks. Thanks for